Okay, as I was praying just a little bit ago, I've been watching Mother Dupree, and she's really teaching people about how to live holy. And I looked at Minister Paul, and he's always having a word for the nations, that, the rapture is about to take place. So this scripture just downloaded, and it was Daniel, the fourth chapter. Nebuchadnezzar the king, unto all people, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I thought it good to show the signs and wonders that the high God hath wrought in toward me. How great are his signs, and how mighty are his wonders! His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and his dominion is from generation to generation. I, Nebuchadnezzar, was at rest in mine house, and flourishing in my palace. I saw a dream which made me afraid, and the thoughts upon my bed and the visions of my head troubled me. Therefore made I a decree to bring in all the wise men of Babylon before me, that they might make known unto me the interpretation of the dream. Then came in the magicians, the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers, and I told the dream before them, but they did not make known unto me the interpretation thereof. But at the last Daniel came in before me, whose name was Belteshazzar, according to the name of my God, and in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. And before him I told the dream, saying, O Belteshazzar, master of the magicians, because I know that the spirit of the holy gods is in thee, and no secret troubleth thee, tell me the visions of my dream that I have seen, and the interpretation thereof. Thus were the visions of mine head in my bed. I saw, and behold, a tree in the midst of the earth, and the height thereof was great. The tree grew and was strong, and the house, oh Shatakarabohosa, glory Jesus, and the height thereof reached unto heaven, and the sight thereof to the end of all the earth. The leaves thereof were fair, and the oh Shatakarabohosa behaved Sam. Pekolabo city alabiosa God, he is sons. Oh, just say Kolabo city alabiosa God, he is sons. Oh, Jace. Oh, say Kolaba city alabiosa God, righteous. The leaves thereof were fair, and the fruit thereof much, and in it was meat for all. The beasts of the field had shadow under it, and the fowls of the heaven dwelt in the boughs thereof, and all flesh was fed of it. I saw in the visions of my head upon my bed, and behold, a watcher and a holy one came down from heaven. He cried aloud and said, Thus, hew down the tree and cut off his branches, shake off his leaves and scatter his fruit. Let the beasts get away from under it, and the fowls from his branches. Nevertheless, leave the stump of his roots in the earth, even with his roots in the earth, even with the hand of iron and of brass, in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beast in the grass of the earth. Let his heart be changed for man's, and let a beast's heart be given unto him, and let 7 times pass over him. This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over in the basest of men. This dream I, King Nebuchadnezzar, have seen. Now thou, O Belteshazzar, declare the interpretation thereof, for as much as all the wise men of my kingdom are not able to make known unto me the interpretation, but thou art able, for the spirit of the holy gods is in thee. Whoa, this is a deep revelation, because it's saying that Nebuchadnezzar had respect for Daniel, because he knew that Daniel feared God. And even when they had sounded a proclamation that said that if anybody prayed to anyone beside Nebuchadnezzar, they were going to be killed. Daniel didn't stop praying. He continued to fall before the Lord and fall on his face before God. So when the Lord had given Nebuchadnezzar this dream, and none of the wise men of the land of Babylon could interpret the dream, none of the magicians, none of the astrologers, none of the psychics, God gave the interpretation to Daniel. And Daniel said that Nebuchadnezzar was going to actually lose his mind. He was going to have a nervous collapse, and it was going to last for 7 years. And he was going to walk as a beast. He was no longer going to have the mind of a man, but he was going to have the mind of a beast until he recognized that God is God. And the same way it is today, because people don't want to retain God in their knowledge, God sometimes gives them over to reprobate minds, a nervous collapse, until they submit to the Lord.